you are of the crude. When I'm saying things there, it's like Aisha talks too much. But then at the end of the day, they will still come back and say, I say, what is that woman be talk? Even though the people like say don't get sense, but small sense things like. I'm just saying this report where they are saying that Wike's son is set to run for House of Representatives, which is I think he's 25, right? Of course, so he's good to run for House of Representatives. But for the last how many months or over a year, I've been shouting about one thing that the current crop of politicians that we have that are destroying Nigeria, they've gotten old. Most of them are old. They're getting feeble and all of that. One of the things that they're trying to do is to hand over the reins of power to their children. I've been saying that. I mean, you can check my old video. You see that a lot. Said that lots of interviews and all of that. Sometimes I say the same thing over and over again. It's almost as if I'm just like a broken record that is repeating itself. I just okay, let's see how it goes. And you see them now, they're already positioning themselves, their children. Some of them already have their children or in there. Nothing is wrong with them having their children in there. Absolutely nothing is wrong with it. But here's the thing, and I've said it before, if we allow them to hand over powers from themselves, not to the citizens, to their children, then not only Nigeria, but the citizens of Nigeria are also going to be done for. I say you'll be fried, really fried. And let me explain. You see this older generation, a good number of them grew up poor, a good number of them have, even if they don't have as much empathy, but they know what poverty is. They have people who, either grow up poor, they know what it is to lack. But their children don't know anything like that. They don't have any sympathy with the poor, they don't have any relationship, they're underprivileged. I mean, they think it's even your fault that you're that way if you're that way. And so they lack the capacity to be able to understand. And it's to no fault of theirs. They've traveled private jet, they've gone to private, schools. They claim that the cream of the society is what they handle, they deal with, they do things with. And so that's understandable. And they will not be able to have that, empathy that you need in the kind of leadership for you to understand. So that's number one. The second thing is that most of these children, they are Ivy League educated. So when you're talking about school, they've gone to the best of schools in the world. Remember the man that, what's his name now? Aliko Dangote had issue with the NMDPRA, whatever it was, who was said to have this $5 million to educate 4 of his children in Switzerland. If you know Swiss is where you have one of the most expensive schools in the world, where it finishes for all of that. But let's leave that aside. And he said one of the sons, like Aliko Dangote said, had just finished Harvard. So we're talking about education, top-notch education. So first of all, you see that they've been brought up, they've been rich, they have access to a lot of things, they're really educated, they're tech savvy, unlike their parents who are still grappling, because their parents' generation, my generation, some of them still grappling with technology. These are young people who were brought up on technology, they're tech savvy, they understand it, they know it, they can use it a lot. And then they also social media savvy. Not just like parents that don't know how to move themselves around social media. These younger ones know how to use social media just like the younger generation. Some of the things that we have right now, a lot of citizens, especially netizens, the younger generation, they're able to use technology, because technology, they're able to use social media against the current set of politicians that we have right now, who have not been able to manage and own, social media and how to use it, right? And so that advantage that you currently have over this politicians that we have, or this political rulers that we have, you will not be able to use it with their own children, because their children already know all of these things. So that's where the problem now comes in. And then the other thing is that they're going to be brutal. Their children are going to be more brutal than their parents. Their children are going to be more kleptomanic than their parents. Why? Because these are children that were brought up on the comfort of the nation. They are used to the force of the nation being their own. For example, you look at Wike's son. These are the same sons that lands were given to them, lands that are worth over millions of dollars here in Abuja. They gave them to them. Their father just became minister of FCT. The next thing they are giving them grants worth millions of dollars in Abuja in their 20s. So they are used to the fact that whatever it is that belongs to Nigeria belongs to them, personally. Not only did they give them those lands, is it the dues that they're supposed to pay on those lands? It was reduced for them by their father. So you see all of this and a whole lot. There was also some millions of dollars of properties that they bought, in the US for them. And Wike will tell us that, oh, it is their grandparents that bought it for them. I remember asking, so I asked the question, I said, who is Wike's wife? Who is Wike's wife's parents? Are they what do you call trust fund babies? Is she a trust fund baby? Because for your parents or your grandparents do not have millions of dollars that they are using to buy properties for you. Is it a Dangote? Is it an Tata family? Is it Rabi? Is it all of this old time, rich family that have trust funds that are there for them? Nobody has asked that question anyway. But that's not what this video is about. The video is about the fact that if you allow this handover to happen, Nigeria will be doomed for the next 50 years. It's going to be very difficult to be able to take away power from this younger generation. But hey, it's not all bad, right? There's something that is very critical that I've been talking about. I'm still going to talk about it now. There is going to be a lacuna between the time that this older generation are passing over this power to them. There's going to be a weakness. So they won't be as powerful as they are. And this is the time that we have now. For every younger generation out there, I wish I took a political party card. I just took, a political card some days ago. I wish I did it when I was 18. When I first voted, beyond being excited that I now have the capacity to vote and be a determinant of who is it that rules Nigeria, I wish I actually took a card. If you're a young person, this is the time. Do not allow those people to take away the political power from you. Be invested in politics. Be interested in politics. Focus on what is happening in politics. And so that you be a determinant of that power. Do not allow this power that this older generation political leaders have held for such a long time that they have used against your parents and against you for them to hand it over to their children. Ensure that that power is finally taken to where it belongs, and that is to the people. Power is supposed to belong to the people, and until and unless the power truly belongs to the people, those who are voted into office would not sit down and do the needful. And the only way they can do the needful is when you yourself insist on them. Learn from our mistakes. We made the mistakes of not participating in politics when we should have. And I'll just end here by saying to you, in 1999, Nigerian politicians, we politicians made a mistake. The people who fought for the democracy of this country, because over the time they have been denied the opportunity of that political participation. When 1999 came, they thought the military was not going to go away. And so because of that, they refused to participate in the 1999 election and everything that was going on. And what then happened? Remember what I said earlier, nature abhors fighting. And so that fighting was filled by criminals, by people who should never have even been allowed into political spaces. And when they got in there, they became governors, they became House of Rep members, they became senators, they took over, quite a number of the political power. By 2003, when the people, the political leaders of our country decided they were going to come, the ones with the competence, character, and capacity, they were going to come to take over power, it was already too late, because the criminals that had gotten into power were using arms. They were using armed, bands, armed talks and whatever against, and that is even the genesis of some of the problems we are still facing in Nigeria today. Like I said earlier, my generation and the generation before us made a mistake. You don't have to make the same mistake. Learn from our mistakes and do better. Thank you so much.